I am 95 years old now. Over the last 70 years, I have shared my home, my food, and my heart with more than 20 cats. I have watched them grow old, watched them leave this world, and buried a few with my own trembling hands in the quiet soil behind my house. And today, when I see young people laughing when their cat stares at them, when I see them look away, ignore it, or misunderstand that silent gaze, it tightens something deep inside my chest, because I made the exact same tragic, heartbreaking mistakes in my youth. Mistakes that cost me trust, and once cost me a goodbye I never got to say. There is something about a cat stare that makes people uncomfortable. You feel those eyes on you while you are drinking tea, scrolling your phone, or sitting alone in the evening. You glance up, and there they are, sitting perfectly still, eyes locked onto yours, as if they are trying to reach inside your soul. Most people laugh it off. Some even say, "Why is my cat being creepy?" But listen to this old man carefully, because that stare is not random. It is not meaningless. It is a language, a quiet, ancient language that cats have been speaking for thousands of years. And I wish, oh, how I wish, someone had sat me down 40 years ago and told me what I am about to tell you now. I remember a cat named Layla. She was a soft gray creature with eyes the color of rain clouds. She came into my life when I was a young husband, busy, proud, always rushing. One evening, after a long day of work, I sat down at the kitchen table, tired and irritated. Layla jumped onto the chair across from me and stared directly into my eyes, not blinking, not moving, just staring. I felt annoyed. I waved my hand and said, "Go away." She didn't move, so I stood up, pushed the chair back, and walked out of the room. That night, she didn't come to sleep beside me like she always did. The next day, she avoided my touch, and for weeks after that, something between us felt broken. I didn't understand it then, but now, after a lifetime of living with cats, I know exactly what happened. She was trying to tell me something. She was reaching out in the only language she knew, and I turned my back on her. You see, when your cat stares at you, the first thing you must understand is this: they are not just looking at you, they are communicating. Cats are quiet animals. They don't bark, they don't shout. They speak with their eyes, their tails, their tiny movements. And that stare you notice, it carries emotion, sometimes love, sometimes fear, sometimes a warning. The secret is learning how to read it before it is too late. There is one kind of stare that still makes my old heart soften every time I see it. It is the slow blink. Ah, the slow blink is a beautiful thing. Your cat looks at you, their eyes soften, and then very gently they close them halfway and open them again. It is slow, calm, peaceful. When a cat does this, they are saying something very simple and very powerful. They are saying, "I trust you." In the language of cats, closing their eyes in front of someone means they feel safe enough to be vulnerable. It means they believe you will not hurt them. I remember another cat, a black one named Sultan. He was strong, stubborn, and proud. For the first year after I adopted him, he never let me touch him. He would sit across the room and watch me carefully, always ready to run. Then one quiet afternoon, as sunlight spilled across the floor, he looked at me and slowly blinked, just once. My breath caught in my throat. I stayed still, not wanting to scare him. And then, with hands shaking like leaves in the wind, I slowly blinked back. That was the day everything changed. From that moment on, he began to trust me. He started sleeping at the foot of my bed. He followed me from room to room, all because of one simple message passed between us without a single word. So if your cat ever gives you that slow blink, do not ignore it. Do not laugh. Return it. Look gently into their eyes and blink slowly back. It may feel strange at first, but to your cat it will feel like love. But not every stare is warm and gentle. Some stares carry tension, some carry fear. And this is where many people make a dangerous mistake. They see their cat staring hard, eyes wide, body stiff, pupils large, and they think the cat is being aggressive or stubborn. They might even punish the cat, raise their voice, or push them away. I did that once, and I regret it to this very day. There was a winter many years ago when one of my cats, a small orange fellow named Rusty, began staring at me in a way that made me uneasy. His eyes were wide, unblinking, and his tail twitched slowly behind him. I thought he was challenging me, trying to dominate the house, so I scolded him. I clapped my hands and told him to stop, but the staring didn't stop. It grew more intense, and a few days later he stopped eating. He hid under the bed, and when I finally took him to the veterinarian, they told me he was in pain. That hard stare was not anger. It was fear. It was discomfort. It was his silent cry for help, and I missed it. Cats do not complain the way humans do. They do not say, "I am sick." They do not knock on your door and ask for medicine. They endure quietly. They suffer in silence. And sometimes the only sign you will get is a stare that feels different from the usual one, a stare that lingers too long, a stare filled with tension instead of softness. If you ever notice that change, do not wait. Pay attention. Observe their behavior, because that stare might be the first whisper of a problem that has not yet become loud. And there is one more truth about staring that many people misunderstand. Sometimes your cat stares at you simply because they love you, because you are their world. You are their food, their shelter, their warmth, their family. Imagine living your entire life with one person being your everything. Of course you would watch them. Of course you would keep your eyes on them, not out of control, but out of devotion. In my old age, when the house grows quiet and the evenings stretch long, I sometimes sit in my chair and remember the cats who shared my life. I remember their soft paws on wooden floors, their gentle purring in the night, their warm bodies curled beside me during storms, and I remember their eyes, always watching, always speaking, always loving in a way that words could never capture. Time has a cruel habit of moving faster than we expect. One day your cat is young and playful, chasing shadows across the wall, and before you realize it, their whiskers turn white, their steps grow slower, and their eyes carry the weight of many years. I have lived long enough to see that cycle more times than I care to count. And if there is one lesson my life with cats has taught me, it is this: never ignore the small signals, because one day you will wish you had paid more attention to them. So the next time your cat stares at you, do not look away. Do not brush it off. Pause for a moment. Meet their gaze. Notice the softness or the tension in their eyes. Watch the slow blink, the twitch of the tail, the quiet message hidden in that silent look. Because in that simple moment, your cat is telling you something important, something honest, something real. And now, as an old man who has walked this road for nearly a century, let me say this from the bottom of my tired heart. I do not have as much time left as I once did. The years ahead of me are few, but the memories behind me are many. If my old stories and old mistakes helped you understand your cat a little better today, then stay with me on this journey. Learn from these wrinkles on my face and these scars on my heart. But before you do anything else, go find your cat right now. Bend down, stroke their head gently, look into their eyes, and if they give you that slow, loving blink, give one back.